Hello and welcome back to Mr. Miller's Art Room. Today we're going to be continuing to talk about our primary colors. Primary colors are your original colors, the first colors. In fact, when we think about the word primary, we think of first. Now, if you take two primaries and you mix them together, you get a secondary color. So, those secondary colors are orange, green, and purple, sometimes called violet. Now, I talked about in a previous video how to mix on this plate, and we might go ahead and watch that video a little bit later. And if you are interested to learn how to manage your palette, then please go ahead, look back in my previous videos and you can find that. As you can see, we have several, and I have many more, wonderful interpretations of the rainbow. The thing is that if you can make these colors, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet, then you can do this, the next assignment I have for you. Of course, what you're going to need is a piece of paper, a palette with the three primary colors on it. You're going to need a bin of crayons, not for drawing, but for writing your name. You're going to need to get a paintbrush, a bowl, cup, or bucket of water, and a willingness to give something a try. Now, I'm going to write my name on this, but I want you to write your name on your own work. Then once you write your name, you're going to flip your paper over and paint on this side.
Well, don't leave me in a mystery, old man. What is the assignment today?
Very good point, Mr. Monocle. Let me get a separate piece of paper to write this down. This assignment is going to be called Shapes, Patterns, and Color Mixing. What we're going to need to do today is use our primary colors to create secondary colors. You utilize the whole page creating shapes, patterns, and designs. You'll have at least one pattern in your painting.
Well, if I do all three of these, I will be a success in this particular endeavor.
That's correct, Mr. Monocle.
What if I wanted to paint like a donkey or a dog?
Well, we're not doing donkeys or dogs today. Don't paint any pictures of recognizable things.
Yes, well, just shapes then.
Yes, do your best with the shapes and make sure that you mix all the colors that you can. First thing I'm going to do, always wash your brush ahead of time to make sure that you get any of the extra dirty paint or gribblies out of there. Because we share paintbrushes, there might still be some paint in there that somebody didn't wash out properly. Now, the first thing that I'm going to start with is I like to start with shapes. How you start your assignment is up to you, but I'm going to start with, let's say, blue. Now, I like to pick a shape that's easy for me to think about. Like, let's say I want to do a triangle. A triangle is a three-sided shape. Now, I painted that triangle. And now what I'm going to do is use the rest of the paint I have on my brush to finish painting that. Now I'm going to choose a different color. Let's see. I'm going to do yellow. So I picked up some yellow. And since I'm not mixing anything yet, I'm just going to use the yellow as it is. And maybe I'll do a yellow circle up here. Like this. And then I'll fill this in with my paint. The next color I'm going to choose is going to be red, so I'll pick a little bit on the side, and then let's see, I've done a triangle and a circle.
What shape will you choose next, Mr. Miller?
I think the next reasonable shape to choose would be like a rectangle, but there's not much space here, so maybe I'll put this red rectangle right here. Uh-oh. Now I'm coming off the side of the page here, so it won't look completely even, but that's okay because we can have shapes that go off the side of the page. And if you get a little bit of paint on the table, that's not a big deal. We're going to clean it up afterwards, that's all. Now here's the exciting part where we get to mix. Remember, when we're mixing with our paintbrush, we don't want to swirl all the paint together to make a muddy mess. What we're going to do is gently pick up some paint that we'll need. We'll put it where we need it, which if I want to make orange, orange is a combination of
red and yellow.
So what I'm going to do is put it between the red and the yellow. Pick a little bit of yellow up, and then we mix that together. Now, what am I going to do with this yellow? I'm not sure yet. How about you know what I could do? Let's make a pattern. So I'm going to use the shape that's already here, and I'm going to make a pattern of orange, then a couple of other colors.
How do you know what you're going to choose, Mr. Miller?
I don't, Mr. Monocle. I have no idea. That's part of exploring. When you explore in places that you haven't been. Well, you can explore with pictures by trying to draw things that you haven't tried before and not always necessarily knowing what you're going to do. I know that I need shapes, I know that I need patterns and designs. That's all I know. Everything else is exploration. Now I'm coming into a pickle.
Mr. Miller, what do you mean by pickle?
I mean a small problem. And the problem is that this triangle pattern, where it goes orange, blue, orange, is running into my red rectangle. But I still want to keep it going. So if you want to do this, what you could do is go to your next color, which would be blue once more. Now, as I start to make my blue line that's coming down here, what's going to happen is I'm going to stop as soon as I get to the red rectangle. Let me color in that little spot. But I'm going to stop at the edge of the red rectangle. I don't want to paint right through it because I might ruin all that good painting I did before. Then I can continue it down here. I'm going to stop and just kind of fill in this little tiny space. And that way it kind of makes it look like this triangle pattern is overlapping. We talked a little bit about overlapping, and I have an entire video about overlapping in my video section. So if that's something that you'd like to take a look at, please go through my videos. Otherwise, we're just going to go ahead and move along. Now, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm going to move on to a different shape and a different color. I think this time I'm going to take my green, because remember, we do need to mix all of our secondary colors. I'm going to take my green and I'm going to do a different kind of design that's going to look like it's behind this big yellow circle. I think I'm going to start with squiggle. Now, once I hit that circle, I don't want to paint over top of it. Or I could, I guess, but I'm not going to this time. And I'm going to go all the way until I hit the edge. Then I'm going to make a pattern of the same kind of squiggle, like this, almost like the waves of an ocean. Now that I got that green, I'm going to go in with something else. Red seems like it would be a really cool color to put in between there. And if there's any blank edges in and around, you can always clean those up with some extra paint. The next color I need to mix is going to be purple, and purple is a mix of
red and blue.
That's correct, Mr. Monocle. Let's go ahead and mix it up, and we'll discover what we're going to do next, because I'm not sure. Now, you know what I would really like, though? I'm thinking I really like this outline on the triangle, so I'm going to do something similar on the red rectangle. And let's just I'll paint right over top of it. That's okay to paint on top of things sometimes. That's not a big deal. It's just that we don't want to do it all the time, because then we lose a lot of the hard work that we did before. Now this time I'm going to do a straight line pattern with the purple, and then we'll do something else with it after that. As you can see, I made these lines radiate or go outward from that rectangle. I'm going to actually continue that pattern over here on this side of the triangle to make it look like it's underneath.
Mr. Miller, how did you know where to place those lines?
Well, thing is, I didn't. I guessed. But I know that your brain is going to connect these lines to this pattern right here. I've got a whole bunch of yellow left, and I think I want to have some yellow over here to balance out this very bright yellow circle. And there we have it. Once I'm done, I'm going to double check my requirements right here. Did I use primary colors to create secondary colors?
Yes, you did indeed. There, I see all 3.
Did I utilize the whole page by creating shapes, patterns, and designs?
I see nary a white space on this piece of paper.
So I guess that means I did well?
Yes.
And I have at least one pattern in my painting?
Well, Mr. Miller, you went above and beyond. You have 3 different patterns in your picture.
Well, then I guess I did okay. So, if you'd like to go ahead and make this, go ahead and give it a try. I'd like to find out what you think about this assignment. Please go ahead and use your palette correctly, and thank you all very much.